Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Lost Odyssey. I'm Serious JG. If it seems like I've taken a few steps, it's because I started a video and then the sound wasn't working and I'm not sure why, and I shit-canned that video and I'm starting a new video. For those of you watching as these go up, this will be the last video of the week and we will be having a memory, and hopefully we will be having enough time after the memory is over to do something else, because they do tend to sort of take over the video a bit. But if we run away from all the combat and the memory isn't too long and it doesn't get me too worked up, and I just do it fairly straight without going into a lot of side stuff, who knows? We might get 20 minutes worth of non-memory content in this bad boy. We're about halfway through the memories. Oh, Silver Kalolon. Alright, so they are Kalolon. And they are water type Pokemon. Let us equip a Kettle Ring, the Kettle Machine. Let us equip I'm sorry, they said water? I believe water fears earth in this game. But there's a really good chance that this thing just runs away. That's annoying, but we haven't killed one yet. And I'd like to eventually. Come on, you got a perfect... That should be... It always hits. Damn you. Damn you. I wonder if the attack techniques that are available to... Yeah, would those always hit, do you think? Maybe if we... I don't know when we'll ever encounter another one of those guys. I was not encountering them often. Like, they were showing up in, like, one enemy grouping off screen. It seems to always be in this screen. Yeah, but maybe combo attack doubles the chance that you're getting a hit. Maybe power attack always hits. I don't know. It's worth a try. Throw it on a save here for no particular reason. Unless this memory just goes super long and then we don't even have a chance to save again because we're drawn into all sorts of cinematics. I guess I could hold back this save and the next time I do a video I could just load from here and skip past the memory at extreme speed and start a video. Oh, this forest that I've been wandering around in for days has suddenly reminded me of something. Khan recalls a memory that was locked deep within his heart. Memory of the time he defeated a frickin' Silver Kalolon. We'll never see that again. A dream has been revealed. This happened a long, long time ago, on a small island which has since perished. They had an odd custom. They mourned their dead with song, elegies. That is a weird custom, singing at funerals. I don't think that ever happens, does it? The songs would play without ceasing, from the last moments before death, through the funeral to the burial. Elegies would be sung for many purposes, to ease the grief of the family, to recall the legacy of the deceased. Sorry, I'm turning into Criswell here.
to appease the soul of one who died under stressful circumstances, to celebrate one person's having lived to a ripe old age, or to evoke anger at another's pointless death. There were no fixed melodies or lyrics. Apparently the songs were sung without lyrics at all. No documents have survived, so all we can do is assemble oral histories, sighs the archaeologist as she views the island from the deck of the ship. I guess the archaeologist needs a female voice. The people of that island country had no writing system, which means they had no way to leave behind signs or evidence of their lives.
I wish we could at least interview a few survivors, but there weren't any. Every single person was killed.
The research team's archaeologist is a young woman in her 20s. Her country is the one that destroyed the islands. It happened when her ancestors, 7 generations back, were still young people. Shockingly, her breast size is not recorded as part of this memory.
I hate to badmouth my own country,
She says with a shrug.
but they really didn't have to go that far.
Wow, that's a rough critique of your own country. Hey, your country that is fictional. Love it or leave it, lady.
That far is no exaggeration. Our country prided itself on its overwhelming military force. For it to gain mastery over the tiny island would have been as simple as twisting an infant's arm, something the narrator does all the time. But our country believed in oppressing its neighbors with force. The leaders were thinking more of those neighbors than of the island itself when it launched its all-out attack. The island was a mere object lesson. It was scorched from end to end. Every human being on the island, from newborn babies to elders on the verge of death, was killed without mercy,
It's odd, though.
says the young woman with a grim smile.
There are hardly any records left from that time, even in our country. I suppose what they did was so terrible they didn't want their descendants to know about it.
Her remark prompts some older scholar on board to clear their throats, at the sound of which she snaps her mouth shut.
Sorry,
She whispers.
you're not much older than I am. You probably don't want to hear all this old stuff anyway.
I do, though.
What interest can a sailor like you have in these boring academic matters? Be silent, you ignoramus!
Kime only shakes his head in silence. Suddenly, things become very busy on deck. The boat is approaching the island as it has entered a stream of intricate channels, where the skills of the crew will be tested. The boatswain calls Kime.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The woman says,
I shouldn't be monopolizing your time. You've got work to do.
even as she apologizes. The talkative young archaeologist asks Kime,
Do you mind if I ask you one last question?
"Please ask away," he replies, stopping in his tracks. She looks around to make sure no one is listening and whispers,
I'm sure this is your first time taking a research team over.
"Uh-huh.
And your first time going to the island?
Well, yes.
So you probably don't know about some of the bad stories they tell about this place. That some scholars who go there fall under a curse. Like they get sick while doing their research on the island, or they become mentally unstable after they get home. I've heard some even kill themselves."
Cool story, brah. You mean a long time ago, right?
Right. This is the first research trip in 50 years. Up to then, every time they sent out a team, 1 or 2 of the members would suffer the curse. This is why they put a stop to them all these years, so I'm a little scared myself.
She sends a mock shudder through her body. Why a mock shudder?
I just thought I'd ask if you could teach me some magic spell for getting back safely.
Wait, what the fuck? Kime looks straight at her, not merely taking in her appearance, but searching for the person deep inside. Also taking in her appearance, so while you are not allowed to know, Kime knows whether her breasts have reached the full swelling of womanhood.
I'm not letting that go, am I? I'm not letting go of those breasts.
You'll be fine, he says.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure you'll be okay. She looks at him knowingly.
If you hear singing, though...
If you hear singing, though, he adds, hum along with it.
What do you mean?
She asks, her expression increasingly uneasy, but Kime says nothing more. The end.
Get over here now, mister.
The boatswain shouts at Kime, who heads for his station. He did tell the woman one white lie, though. This is not his first time coming to the island. He has been here many times before. His first trip happened a long, long time ago.
Oh, he survived the attack, eh?
As the archaeologist said, the island's elegies had no fixed melody or lyrics. They were all sung extemporaneously and never repeated. Some of them were about a man from Nantucket. 100 deaths required 100 elegies, nor did mourners agree in advance on the nature of their elegies before they started singing. At first each would sing his or her own song expressing his or her own feelings about the deceased. Eventually the jumble of songs would come together into a single melody without any one singer taking the lead. They called it bullshit that doesn't work that way singing. In the culture of this island that had no writing, there was of course no musical notation. There were no instruments for accompaniment either. Each mourner, in grieving for the loved one, would give voice to hopes for a peaceful last journey, and a song would emerge. Kime's travels brought him here when the island was at peace, which is to say centuries ago. He happened to arrive just after the death of a village elder. For 3 days and nights an elegy was sung around the clock. The island people's song, which shook the darkness and reverberated all across the clear blue daytime sky, left its mark with a certain ennobling comfort in the breast of Kime, which had reached the full swelling of womanhood. A man for whom fate had decreed that no one would ever sing an elegy.
However, they will do the from Nantucket poems.
To think that such an island had been burned to the ground. The people fled in all directions at once and were murdered one at a time. It was an absolute bloodbath. Now let us punish the guilty and reward the innocent.
That's from Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Kime knows about the atrocities that accompanied the butchery, things that were not handed down to the generation of the young archaeologist. Had it wished to, the woman's country could have taken control of the island in a single night, but instead it used its military power to chase down each of the island's inhabitants over a period of several days, as if carefully filling in the blank spaces in a coloring book. The island became enveloped in elegies. At first, while the living still outnumbered the dead, voices in elegiac song all but shook the island with their volume. So did the bombs. They shook the island. As the days went by, however, and the dead came to outnumber the living, the sobbing voices in song grew ever fainter. When the battle reached its final phase, the few remaining islanders, who had been quartered in the North Island's tip, fled into a large cave. They resigned themselves to death. All that was left for them to do was pray that they might be allowed to die with some degree of peace.
You know, thinking back, this one's mostly narration, and I could have chosen sillier voices to do this one in for sure.
But even this small measure of hope they were unable to wring from their attackers.
Because the Criswell voice really is suited to, like, over-the-top narration.
The army of the archaeologist's country went for maximum brutality. They achieved a bonus. They entered the cave with every weapon at their command, and they dragged out and killed one islander per day.
That seems inefficient.
Today it was an old man. The next day it was a young man. The day after that they tortured to death a young mother with an infant at her breast. So 2 people died. They're cheating. Breasts were mentioned, but I'm going to go with making fun of how they switched from 1 a day to 2. And the following day, the infant was torn from her arms. Oh, never mind. See, I should have given them credit. I didn't even finish the sentence before I started contesting it. I was the one who was a fool this time. How silly I was to think that they would not let the infant live for an entire day before they put it to death. The elegies resounded without interruption. The singing voices that escaped from the cave invaded the ears of the soldiers who were carrying on the massacre. Those soldiers with kind hearts collapsed one after another, or they went mad and left the front line.
That's a common problem. Soldiers going mad when the individual slaughter of entire villages is extended out over periods of weeks and months. That's one reason most armies don't do that.
Soldiers with kind hearts. A song was the final weapon of the islanders who had no other means to fight. They went on singing as they struggled against starvation, thirst, and their own fears. The commanding officer of the anti-insurgency force ordered his men to fill in the mouth of the cave. If they buried the people alive, he thought the singing would no longer be audible.
Or you could just go in and kill them all at once. Not insist on killing one a day.
Nevertheless, faint singing continued. It went on day after day. Rainy days, clear days, daytime, nighttime, it continued, but no longer without breaks, which gradually increased in length. The singing went beyond being an elegy for a single person and became a song suffused with the sorrow of all living things on the island. About the time the season ended, the last thin thread of singing died out. The end. The army left the island. Not a single record of these military operations was left because it didn't actually happen. Never again did anyone come to live on the island. The end. The first research team in 50 years is plagued by difficulties. One scholar after another collapses. Almost every day, someone is sent out to the vessel anchored offshore, sick. All of the scholars moan with pain, blocking their ears. The situation is exactly what it was before the island was sealed off from research. The end. Kime knows exactly what is happening. The ocean breeze sweeping across the island sounds like a song. The branches swaying in the forest sound like a song. The birds in the trees sound like a song. The babbling of the brook sounds like a song.
You know, I used to know a girl, this was many years ago, and like we weren't close friends. A girl in the neighborhood whose name was Crystal Brook. And I always thought her parents were like idiots. I don't remember having ever met them, but it's like, all right, you're the Brook family and you're actually going to name your daughter Crystal? I mean, that just seems unfair. The treading of boots on piled-up fallen leaves sounds like a song. The crashing and receding of waves on the shore sounds like a song, the elegy for the island that people sang with every last bit of life they could dredge up from inside themselves. Now is being sung by the island itself.
Please stop. I beg you, please stop.
The scholars cry out in their delirium, covering their ears.
I don't know what we did. It was our ancestors, not us. I'm assuming I'm the scholars.
The scholars who moan this here anger and sorrow in the constantly resounding elegy. What they say is true. It is not their fault.
This is a Japanese game. They don't like to acknowledge, not that Americans haven't done terrible things. Never mind. I was going to go off on a whole thing because I actually was in Japan. It was interesting reading the English translations of the stuff at like the Peace Museum. Their coverage of what started the war is very thin, and I was reading the English translation. I don't even know that the Japanese translation provided as much information for why there was a war going on, but, you know. What they say is true. It is not their fault, but they have been given no knowledge of what happened on this island so long ago. Sometimes not knowing can be a profound sin. Are you listening, Ron DeSantis? Sorry, it's weird. I'm in a country where we're removing all the stuff from history books that makes white people feel bad. They should prick up their ears and listen all the more. That is what Kime has always done. So I get, is Kime immune from, like, supernatural elegy damage? The elegy being sung by the island is not merely hurling hatred and anger at them. The island is not trying to torture members of the younger generation like them who are without sin. Rather than blocking their ears, they should listen. If they do so, the message will reach them. For the island is telling them, you must know the truth. You must know what actually happened on this island so long ago. Can you prove it didn't happen? It's a good thing I ended that last video early. We'd be 10 minutes. We'd be 15 minutes over at this point. The investigation ends much earlier than originally planned. Most of the research team have returned to the ship, their health broken, and some of the most seriously ill members have been sent home. It is no longer possible to continue the work, and you are no longer able to win. Sorry, that's for Boba the Vulture's enjoyment. That is That is the message when you lose a match in I'm trying. There was some mode where you had to win straight through. You couldn't continue, or maybe that's if you choose not to continue. But it's in WCW NWO World Tour. You are no longer able to win, and then this like guitar theme comes in. Game over equals you are no longer able to win. The young archaeologist who spoke to Kime on the island is one of the few who have persevered to the end.
Thanks to you,
She says to Kime. As soon as she climbed from the launch into the ship, she saw Kime standing on the deck and hurried over to him. She looks haggard, Merle haggard. She starts singing Poncho and Lefty, but her fatigue is clearly less physical than mental. Actually, Willie Nelson did most of Poncho and Lefty. Merle Haggard only really did. He did the verse about Lefty, but most of the song's about Poncho. That's what you guys want to hear about right now. Still, her eyes harbor a strong-willed gleam.
Did you hear me hear the singing?
Did you hear the singing? He asks.
I did,
She says with a nod, looking back at the receding island and at Kime's receding hairline.
It was so sad.
Just as he had thought, she was able to open herself to the sadness. The macho sadness. Ooh, yeah. Excuse me, did you sing along with it?
Yes, I did that too, partly because of what you said to me, but I also found myself humming the same tune quite naturally.
Bullshit. You did it because Kime told you to. Kime nods and smiles at her. This is the first time he has encountered anyone with the heart to hear the island's elegy.
This time when I get home,
She says.
I want to do some more serious research on the war. It's something I have to do. I almost feel I don't have any choice in the matter.
I'm glad to hear that, he says. If you don't do that research, the spirits of the island will come and get you. They let you survive because you implied that promise.
I might turn up some facts from the country finds inconvenient, but I find it absolutely necessary to learn the truth, to know what actually happened.
And at this point, the brown shirts drag her away. The end? The ship emerges into the open sea. A single white bird flies out from the island as if seeing the ship off on its journey. Tracing an arc against the blue sky, it releases one high, ringing cry. No longer an elegy. This is a song of joy and forgiveness, signaling the dawn of a new age end. Thank you.
All right, so we defeated the miasma. Does that mean that this forest is cleansed? Ah, never mind. Not so much. This would be worth it if this is one of those little silver assholes and I actually get to fight him now. It would be my chance to actually determine whether any of those special techniques always hit. That was a long wind-up before we got any characters to load in. And we still don't know what we're fighting. And we're fighting... Well, we're not actually fighting these guys, because I can't be bothered. Ooh.
Let's run. We can't stand under that kind of firepower.
All right. I hesitate to travel anywhere with only 5 minutes of video left, but the last video went super short, so make sure you save at this point. Do not approach the fountain. Okay. All right, so there's this place we're specifically supposed to avoid because it's going to trigger a bunch of events. So that implies that we can get into the city and not immediately trigger events. So they want us to go to the city of Numara. Okay, so we can do another one of these stupid music cubes, because we did find a music cube somewhere. A cube melody. But we're supposed to avoid the fountain, because that will trigger events. Hit the cube in the correct pattern. Alright, let's give it a shot. DAAD. Ah. I don't understand the difficulty of this at all if it tells you which buttons to press. Maybe there's something I'm not understanding. Or these ones are baby mode and later on they won't tell us what they are. It just tells us it's dad.
It's an elegy of demonic pain and suffering.
Wow, it's an incredible piece of music there. Yacht, you destroyed my musical boxes! No! Art Carney's musical box. Congratulations, this is your playing. To commemorate this, I give you... You'll gain arms. We get... Dodger. See you later. Come back and try again later. So we're missing all sorts of spirit magic. So his Dodger is increased evasion rate. Huzzah. So we got to see somebody in Canal Street. Apparently we're in New York City. This is Main Street. Trying to remember what the symbol, what the purple symbol means. This is not, I don't think this is the shop, but... Oh, it is the shop. Oh, it's an item shop. Yeah, I would suppose that these guys wouldn't be selling spirit magic if it is unknown to this civilization. Anyway, the 19 crystal fragments that we are going to collect, that we collected, were all to be turned into somebody in Canal Street, who may or may not have actually sent us on a quest to find them. What is his name? Heading home. What? Kenosha. So I've always heard the Queen used to visit the old part of town. Happy Lucky Hylas. Road connects the military base to the port. Okay. You insulted me, didn't you? Called me a pig and a coward. Care to explain? What? Oh no, I'm mad at you. Okay, good. Just, this guy might be the one, but it's Maya, the bee. Children ran off somewhere again. I had a job for them. Well, that's probably why they ran off. Peeping Tom. It's quite a lady you got with you. Are you having fun? Yes. You sure got it easy. Me, I'm not asking for the world. I just wish it was a bit more popular with ladies. Isn't it great to be attractive? Not really. Oh, really? Getting the ladies isn't that much fun after all. Whatever. I'm not getting anything out of talking to that guy. Violent soldier Nuos. He's gonna cuff us in the face. Maybe she was off of Canal Street? Gentle husband Newman. Hello, Newman. You gentle husband, you. Alright, well now this video is going long because I can't find this lady to turn these crystal things over to. But, I mean, I would think Split Infinity would refer to this as Kotlia Family Home. This is where we're actually supposed to go. But Katira. Totten, is he a wise brother? He's a mild brother. He's a wild brother. He's not wise, he's wild. Yeah, wise is not, you know, wisdom is not usually a thing you find in a person of that age. Unless there's some kind of like, Bodhivastra, whatever you call it. Okay. Oh, God. Did we talk to all the little kids? All the single ladies? He's wise looking. He might not be wise, though. Was he ironic or iconic? Hey, you look like you might be a person. Well, you are a person. You're just not the person I'm looking for. Alright. We're just searching the whole fucking world now. Maybe I didn't trigger the quest and didn't follow Split Infinity's instructions closely enough. Some poor homeless person living in that little tent there. Actually, it's fairly comfortable. Actually, you're not homeless if you have a tent, but that's not true. I mean, I guess it depends on whether you have like a really expensive permanent emplacement tent or just some shit that you put up that gets knocked over by the cops every night. I am not finding this person. Oh, well, this is the Maya Family Art Studio. I'm still not feeling it right now. I'm sure I'll find something. I'll put rather crystal fragments. The crystal, maybe I can get 19 more, give it to him. You brought a lot of crystal fragments in for me, haven't you? This mysterious light. Oh, yes, it's coming now. Thank you for this rare relic. I think I can feel my muse returning. I'm afraid I have a little to reward you with. But here's the very first piece I ever created. Please take it with you. Life brooch obtained. Okay, well, so he wasn't in the Canal Street. He was in the Maya Family Home. You lied to me, Split Infinity. How can I trust you ever again? Alright, well, that was a skill that we didn't have, so whatever. Alright. So we've gone over, but, yeah, let's just call it a video. I was thinking I could try to get to a shop and see if we can buy stuff for Mac, but I don't know if that's even going to be a thing. And Split Infinity is not suggesting it, and he did suggest we go do those little side quests. So it seems pretty unlikely that we could get cool new equipment. Oh, what? No, I was saying. Never mind. yeah, the next thing, he's mentioning that at level 19, Mac, which Mac is already at for us, we'll get additional exposure powers. Nothing about buying equipment for Mac or anyone else at this point, so we are probably meant to get on with the story, which we will do next time. Thanks for watching.